Hey everyone, this is Vimal Odedra and I'm super excited to be part of Humans of Telecom.
Hey everyone, a very warm welcome to Humans of Telecom, the Unplugged podcast. This is your host Anurag Aggarwal. As you all know, this is where we dive into the human side of telecom, exploring the personal journeys, bold decisions, and defining moments that shape this industry beyond just technology and numbers. And speaking of journeys, today's guest has a very mischievous side to him as well, because when I invited him to the show, he insisted that he must appear in none other than episode number 69. That little detail already tells you something about the energy and playfulness he brings to everything he does. From enterprise telecoms to technology ventures, from launching a fashion label to purpose-driven entrepreneurship, he's worn many hats with flair. His focus has always been on building practical solutions that make everyday lives better, with the belief that technology should serve people first. Colleagues know him for his sharp dress sense, high energy, calm execution, and his unique ability to connect ideas, people, and opportunities in ways that make things move ahead. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Vimal Odedra, founder and director at LiYF Limited. Vimal, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this journey. We'd love to hear more about you. Which part of the world do you belong to? And from where are you joining this podcast today?
Thank you for having me, Anurag. And thank you for holding episode 69 for me. We all know that the number 69 is often known as a reference to a sexual position, but that's not why I wanted it, Anurag.
So what's the reason why Vimal insisted on this number then?
So to me, it's a symbol of balance, duality and connection, you know, when two halves come together to create harmony. And that's why it's very special to me. And as you know, Anurag, I'm an Indian and I'm a very proud Indian at that, you know, but you asked me where am I joining you from today? I may be Indian, but my journey started in a very different way. I was actually born in Uganda, but before I was even 2 years old, my life was turned upside down by a man called Idi Amin. The Indian community and my family was forced to leave Uganda, leaving everything behind and venture into the unknown. That's really where my story begins, with sacrifice, resilience, courage, and hope. I say this because when we arrived in England, we arrived with nothing. No wealth, no certainty, just my parents' determination to build, or rebuild, should I say, our lives. But that taught me at an early age that even when life strips you of everything familiar, you still have within you the power to rise again. It's how England became my home. And right now I speak to you from the beautiful village of Woburn, which I'm honored to call my home.
Amazing, Vimal. I must say that I had this presumption that you're going to say that we were born in a wealthy family in Gujarat in India, and we very cushily shifted at some point in our life to the UK. But it's interesting, as always, when guests come on the show and when we actually see beyond the most apparent side of them that we already know of. So it's interesting to see that you've gone through so much in life. And I think that somewhere reflects, in our conversations and in your attitude, that can-do attitude. So I think I see now where that comes from.
I suppose I have Mr. Amin to thank for that. So, yeah.
Well, I'll say amen to that now.
Yes.
And let's hear a bit more about your telecom journey. Just like I'm sure your journey on your origins is so interesting. How did you wind up in the world of telecom? Was it by chance or was it planned? And how's the journey been so far?
So I actually started off in IT and I built a highly successful career in IT and project management, leading some very large-scale transformation initiatives and cutting-edge enterprise solutions. One of the most defining roles in my journey was with British American Tobacco. And we set up a department that was dedicated to innovation and transformation. It was actually in this role where we operated as a think tank, analyzing the existing business processes and identifying where technology could actually bring real change to the organization. Unfortunately, the success of this department led to its merger with the corporate strategy. While this was a huge recognition for our achievements, it didn't actually align with my own passion for innovation in technology. But as they say, when one door closes, another opens. And it was around this time that my brother Vj was setting up his own telecoms company and needed some support in building the IT infrastructure for that company. As is my brother, I jumped in with both feet, and without even knowing it, I had started my journey into telecoms. It wasn't long after that Annecto was born. And as they say, the rest is history, and telecoms has been a part of my life ever since. I've been fortunate to work with many innovative projects across the IT and telecoms industry, from retail to wholesale, enterprise solutions, fraud protection, the whole wider M&O portfolio, really. But it's innovation that has always been my driving force. And it's this innovation that has led me to my current role in roaming with World Mobile. What people may not know is the reason why I work for World Mobile. The reason is World Mobile's mission, their purpose is so simple yet so powerful to me. Their mission is to connect the unconnected. And for me, that's not just telecoms, it's transformation. Today, more than 2.6 billion people, 1/3 of our planet, are still unconnected. That's not just about living without the internet. It means millions, billions are cut off from education, from healthcare, from financial opportunities, and just having a voice in this world. And that reality is why I work with World Mobile. I honestly believe that in today's world, Anurag, being connected is no longer a luxury. It's a basic human need. And we should all do whatever we can to make this a reality.
Yeah, absolutely, Vimal. So, firstly, it's been a fabulous journey for you, I can see. And yes, I think I can totally resonate with the mission of World Mobile that you are supporting. And yes, connectivity is something which we in the urban parts of the world take for granted. But for millions and billions, as you're rightly putting it, I think it's still a far fetched dream. So, kudos to you for that and all the very best in this endeavor.
Thank you.
And regarding your entire fascinating telecom career that you just walked us through, is there any one memorable or impactful moment or a story you'd like to share with us?
So, throughout my career, I've achieved many things that I'm proud of. That's because I've always pushed the boundaries of innovation. For example, I was one of the first people to have a mobile phone in the UK. It was one of the kind that came with a huge battery pack that weighed more than, a suitcase, but I still walked around thinking I looked cool. But the one moment that really stands out for me was, and to do with the world of telecoms, came when I was on a trip to India. While traveling, I saw a woman begging on the street. And, at first I thought nothing seemed unusual. You see beggars everywhere. But then I noticed she was holding 2 working mobile phones. And that image stopped me in my tracks. This woman who was begging for money had enough money to have credit on 2 mobile phones. It was then that I realized that the mobile industry wasn't just a passing trend. It was going to change the way the world connects forever. And to be part of that industry and being able to make an impact on how people connect, to me, is very, very powerful.
Absolutely. I can really imagine that. I mean, myself being in India, I've seen how the digital revolution has actually changed so much in the lives of people around us. And even I've seen on streets, just like you've seen 2 mobile phones, I've seen some people begging with a QR code that links to a bank account as well. So, to that extent, I think I can actually totally understand that feeling when you saw that lady with 2 mobile phones. So, totally get you. And now let's shift gears a bit, Vimal. Let's shift from the telecom side to Vimal's human side. So, Vimal, as I said, that your dapper sense of fashion and your wit and charisma, as one has personally seen and experienced. Tell us something shocking that people don't know about Vimal.
Shocking, I don't know, but there's probably a few things that people don't know about me, Anurag. And I guess the easy answer is that I've stopped smoking and I've stopped drinking. But these things, these are me things, and for me, I'm not shocked about them. If anything, I wish I'd stopped years ago. But you know, like you said, most people know me as someone full of energy and always smiling. And but there are a few things that maybe people don't know about. For example, I have a dog. My beautiful dog Kira, has actually won at Crufts, the biggest dog show in the world. I've launched my own fashion label at London Fashion Week, and I'm also about to launch my own dance music album. So those are some things that probably people don't know about me. And I'm sure if somebody buys me a ginger ale or a ginger beer, I'm more than happy to talk to them about these in detail.
Interesting. Definitely some fascinating facts that one didn't know about you. And what do you do to recharge yourself, Vimal? What are your passions and interests like?
So the recharging and unwinding, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, Anurag. There are probably three things that truly help me to unwind and recharge. One is music, which has always been my constant companion. I find it so powerful, almost magical. Whether it's the nostalgic crackle of my old vinyl records or the bass from my latest dance track, music has the ability to mesmerize me and shift my state of mind in a beat. And I love that. Then there is Reiki, which may be another thing people don't know about me, but it's a cornerstone of my life. I'm a third-degree Reiki master, and I don't just believe, I actually know that when you change your energy, you actually change your life. It's a practice that keeps me grounded, centered, and aligned with my purpose. And it also allows me to be able to help and heal people on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level. And I suppose lastly, there's nature. I'm fortunate to live in the postcard village of Woburn, where I can step out onto the beautiful estate every day. And being surrounded by nature and wildlife helps me reconnect with the earth and its energy. And if anybody is curious about this connection, it's actually called the Schumann resonance, which is 7.83 hertz, the earth's natural frequency. And when you immerse yourself in that frequency, it has the power to shift your mood and rebalance your energy. But there are lots of things I do, Anurag, such as yoga, meditation, breathworks, but I'm not an expert yet in these fields. My brother, for example, Vj, is actually one of the world's leading breathwork masters, so much so that he's added the field of CO2 into his armory. He has proven ways to help elite individuals reach peak performance simply by managing, controlling, and understanding the importance of CO2 in our bodies. So, it just shows you when you spend time to learn things to make you a better person, the results are actually out of this world. So I implore all of you to spend some time on you.
Interesting, Vimal. I must say, both the brothers have a knack for picking some of the most exotic activities of interest. And yes, I guess if somebody is in sync with nature, is in alignment with nature, I think that's the best state of calm and equilibrium that one can be. So, absolutely agree with you on that. And on that note, we move to a fun question. So, tell us three statements. Two of them have to be truths, one of them has to be a lie. And I'll try my best to guess which one of them is a lie. So, do you have three such statements for us today?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, okay. Number one, I've had over £250,000 worth of surgery for a broken leg. Number two, I've DJ'd at some of the best clubs in Ibiza. Number three, I was born with a hole in my heart.
All right. I can totally understand that, Vimal. You are giving me a tough time out here. But let's see. I'll rule out the most easy one. So I think Vimal and music goes quite hand in hand. So DJing in clubs in Spain, I think that's something I'm gonna presume you have done. So I'll say that's a truth. Between a broken leg and a hole in the heart. That's a tough one. And I'd like to believe that both are false. But just in the interest of this question, I am going to presume that hopefully you've not had to shell out £250,000 for a broken leg. So that's false. And the third one, which would also be an interesting story to know, that being born with a hole in the heart, and where is that situation today? I'm just going to presume that that's the truth. So I'd say the first statement is a lie and the second and third are truths. So am I right out here?
You're wrong, Anurag, unfortunately.
All right.
So I have DJ'd at some amazing venues, but just not in Ibiza, not yet. As I said earlier, I've been working to create my a new genre of music, which is all about Indian house music, and I'm almost ready to launch my first album, and hopefully that will lead to me playing out at some of the biggest clubs in Ibiza, but not yet.
All right. And what about the other two? I hope you didn't have to shell out £250,000. Or actually, no, that would be a truth. Yeah. So that and the third one are truth. So,
They're both
gosh,
true.
how have those experiences? Yeah, how have those experiences been?
So I was born with a hole in the heart, a blue baby, as they call it. I was told that it will close up over time. But I actually, when I was younger, if I actually exerted myself too much, I would pass out. But, regardless of that condition, I never let it stop me. I've played sports to a very high level. And even now, I still remain active. And if anything, I'm always giving pieces of my heart away to people that I need. So one hole, I'm not going to miss a hole, So, yeah, I do that. And when it came to my leg, when I was 13, I had a very bad accident on a push bike where I actually broke my femur and my foot and leg rotated more than 360 degrees. I was in traction for 3 months. I spent further 3 months learning to walk again. And all of this left me with a hyperextended knee. So at the grand old age of 40, I decided to get things put right. But as the Harley Street surgeons had never seen anything like my leg before, it took nearly 3 years of surgery and £250,000 worth of hard-earned money to put things right. But I now have a normal leg, as they say.
Interesting. So I must say that you have had your share of medical history as well, but it's good to know that things are in place now. And the last question of this section, Vimal. So if there's one thing you could change about your life, what would that one thing be?
To be honest, Anurag, I don't really carry that many regrets. I've always believed that dwelling on the past doesn't serve us well. If anything, I would say I should have focused on health and helping people earlier. But I don't see that as a regret because that's exactly what I'm doing now. Through my company LiYF, I have the privilege of supporting women who suffer from PCOS, endometriosis, irregular menstrual cycles, menopause symptoms, and even fertility challenges. And, helping women to create a metabolic and a hormonal balance within their bodies can be life-changing for them. And I know this, even though these are conditions I, as a man, will never experience. But as a father of a 16-year-old girl, this is something that is very close to my heart. I don't want anybody, especially my daughter, to have to suffer with such life-altering conditions for the majority of their lives, because they don't have to, Anurag, and I can actually help. LiYF can actually help to change that. And just to put it into context, PCOS alone affects 1 in 4 women. Yet, in my opinion, it remains one of the most underdiagnosed conditions in the world. And too many women suffer in silence. For me, the opportunity to make a difference in their lives is far more rewarding than closing a major firewall deal with an MNO. And this work has become my mission. So if anyone is listening and you are suffering from any of these conditions, or someone who does, please reach out. I promise we'll do everything we can to get them the help and support they deserve.
Interesting, Vimal. You have once again astounded me. So beyond all the things you've been doing in your personal life and in the field of telecom, you actually have another side to you, which is related to a cause for women's healthcare. So thank you for sharing this with us. Maybe when we release the episode, you can drop a link about LiYF, and I'm sure whoever's interested will definitely reach out to you and get to see firsthand on the wonderful things you're doing. So all the very best for that.
Thank you.
And on that note, Vimal, while we're having a great conversation, but we are down to our final question, our signature question. What does being human mean to you? What sort of a human being would you want the world to remember you as?
So that's a very deep question, Anurag, and you know it as well, because I've heard other people's answers. But to me, being human at its core is very simple. Deep down, I believe each one of us knows the difference between right and wrong. We don't need society, the news, or social media to define it for us. The real question is in the choices that we make. Whether you choose the path of right or you choose the path of wrong, that decision belongs to you and you alone. So please choose wisely, my friends. Our choices shape not only our lives, but the world we leave behind. So choose the right path, please.
Absolutely, Vimal, 100% agree with you on that. As they say, sometimes not even taking a decision is a decision in its own self. So yes, every choice we make, every corner that we turn across, I think life does take us on a different path. So yes, one should choose with a sense of understanding and in knowledge rather than in a sense of ignorance. So yep, once again, totally understand what you're saying. That's a wonderful thought to close this conversation. So on that note, Vimal, thanks a lot. It has been a fabulous conversation, just as I expected. And I do hope very soon we get to meet this fine gentleman at one of the telecom events. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Anurag, for having me as your guest on Humans of Telecom. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Vimal. And to all our wonderful listeners here, thanks a lot for tuning into the show. We hope this episode gave you a good glimpse of the human side of Vimal Odedra, someone who started out from Uganda and ventured into the unknown of the UK on a steamboat voyage. His story is one which is rooted in resilience and adventure. Someone who is deeply committed to women's healthcare causes, making impact where it truly matters. A soul who feels most alive in nature, carries a deep love for music, and is known for his impeccable fashion sense. And finally, someone who is born with a hole in his heart, but one who's always had his heart in the right place. That for us is Vimal Odedra. So, if you enjoyed today's episode, do stay tuned in because we shall soon be releasing yet another episode and another compelling story from the telecom space. And do follow the podcast on your preferred streaming channel. On behalf of Humans of Telecom, this is your host Anurag Aggarwal signing off for now. Take care.